Hi, welcome to this special edition of NewsCenter 16, coming to you live from Prevost Field.
Coming up later in the show, we'll bring you to the streets where there were local parades yesterday morning.
Plus, NewsCenter 16's Colleen McKenna is down in the studio right now with this week's regular news.
All this coming up later on this week's edition of NewsCenter 16.
You're watching Channel 16, Radnor. Alexis Yester. Kurt Leimbach. Liza Kane. Chris Swisher. And Trevor Algott with sports. This is NewsCenter 16.
Hi, and welcome to this very special edition of NewsCenter 16, coming to you live from Prevost Field. Tonight, festivities benefits a great cause. The purpose of the annual fireworks show tonight is to benefit the Radnor High School Scholarship Fund. The Scholarship Fund gives out grants every year to students who need financial aid for college.
Behind us is a field filled with people who have come to complete their celebration of the 4th of July with musical entertainment and fireworks, which we will be showing following this coverage.
Right now, I think we have NewsCenter 16's Chris Swisher down on the field. Chris, how's it going down there?
Thanks, Liza and Danny. I'm Chris Swisher on the field with some young spectators for the evening's festivities. What are your names, guys?
I'm Sam Thompson.
And I'm Dan Barron.
How are you enjoying the music of tonight?
It's okay.
It's okay. It's fair.
Just okay?
Yeah.
You guys looking forward to the fireworks display? It's getting ready to come around here?
Yeah, sure. It's my first time here. Yeah.
It's like my third time, and yeah, I'm pretty anxious.
Yeah. How do you think it'll rank up to former years' performances?
I don't know. Just have to find out.
Okay. Liza and Danny, back to you.
Thanks, Chris. Yesterday, here at NewsCenter 16, we got to ride in a parade through Garrett Hill and Rosemont, and NewsCenter 16's Kurt Leimbach has a story on that.
The community of Garrett Hill celebrated the 4th of July in spectacular fashion earlier today with a parade followed by a fair at Clemacrone Park. Many groups participated in the parade, including local fire departments, an antique car club, and NewsCenter 16. The parade went all throughout the streets of Garrett Hill. After the parade, residents went to Clemacrone Park to celebrate the 4th with a fair and a picnic. At the fair, there was a multitude of things to choose from for people to do, including jugglers, clowns, a military display, dancers, a big band ensemble, and many others.
It's great. You know, it's such a community spirit here. It's great to see everybody coming out and all the red, white, and blue, and the weather's great, so we're really enjoying ourselves.
Free hot dogs and soda were given out to the fairgoers, and everyone enjoyed themselves thoroughly. Kurt Leimbach, NewsCenter 16.
Thanks a lot, Kurt. Aileen's down in the field now with some people. Aileen.
Thanks again, Liza and Danny. I'm here on the field with Holly Prescott, who's manning the snow cone booth. How's it going this year, Holly?
Well, let me just say, it's really sticky right now, right?
I guess so. You've been handling these snow cone operations here for many a year now. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. You know, I'm getting to be a pro at it right now. But,
yeah. How many snow cones do you think you guys make every night here?
I don't know. I think we figured it out to be a couple hundred. So we were afraid with the postponement of the 4th of July that we weren't going to be able, like, people wouldn't come out here, but it's been just as good as it was last year, so.
Great. And how long does it take to, what's your assembly time on a snow cone, do you think?
Well, I mean, once we get the ice made, it's really rapid, but then every once in a while we have to take little breaks to make snow as it is.
I see. Well, thanks a lot, and thanks for coming out and doing such a great job this year.
Sure.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Back to you, Liza and Danny, up there on the roof.
Thanks, Aileen. The community of North Wayne held their annual 4th of July parade yesterday. The parade allows children to decorate their bicycles and get the feel of participating in a real parade. The parade wound its way down to Cowan Field, where the children and parents enjoyed ice cream and games.
Marple Newtown also held a parade yesterday morning along Westchester Pike. This annual parade is organized by the Marple Newtown 4th of July Committee. This is a group of volunteers and organizers who met all year round to plan and direct the parade and to produce a program book as well. All money raised from the parade helped pay for the many bands and musical groups who performed. The parade and the program book is a great way for the township of Marple Newtown to show off their community and its many businesses.
News Center 16's Aileen Gallagher was at that parade yesterday. Aileen, what can you tell us about it?
Thanks, Liza and Danny. That's right. Steve Snedden and I, both residents of Newtown Square, went to the parade the other day. The parade route went from St. Albans Circle on Route 3 all the way down to the Broomall Fire Department. And there were a lot of people gathered on Route 3, Westchester Pike. A lot of veterans marched, a lot of kids on bikes and costumes, lots of floats. And it's a great time for that part of our neighborhood to get together. So it was a lot of fun.
All right. Thank you very much, Aileen. Now Chris Swisher is down in the field. Hey, Chris, how you doing down there?
Thanks, Liza and Danny. I'm Chris Swisher out on the field with the spectator for the events tonight. Sir, how are you enjoying yourself this evening?
That's great. The band's been really nice. It's been a good night so far. Got to watch for flying balls, though.
Yeah, lots of kids out there playing with their balls and what have you. Are you looking forward to the special effects extravaganza we're about to get?
It should be great.
Yeah,
should be a nice night.
Wonderful. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Liza and Danny, back to you.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Coming up next on this special edition, News Center 16's Colleen McKenna is in the studio right now with this week's local news. Stay tuned. This week's edition of News Center 16.
We go now to the studio where Colleen has this week's latest local news.
Thanks, Danny and Liza. Hi, I'm Colleen McKenna in with this week's local news. Topping the Radnor beat this week, a freakish accident took place on Friday in Wayne. 411 Lancaster Avenue was the site of the accident, which took place around 2 p.m. A Radnor ambulance traveling in the right lane off East Lancaster Avenue swerved to the left, crossing the whole road and running up a 3-foot wooden embankment. The ambulance pulled with it a black Nissan Altima that was traveling parallel to the ambulance in the left of East Lancaster. Nearby, a U-Haul truck had previously tried to make a left-hand turn from the eastbound lane, and when going to the driver of its destination became lodged on the road, blocking both westbound lanes of Lancaster. Sources at the Radnor Fire Department say that the ambulance had observed the situation at hand and was attempting to give assistance to the U-Haul drivers. Turning on its lights, the ambulance driver attempted to make a U-turn but did not see the Nissan parallel to his vehicle and therefore collided with it and pulled the vehicle with him to the other side of the road. The driver of the Nissan Altima and the ambulance driver were both taken to Bryn Mawr Hospital for injuries, and when News Center 16 spoke with the source there, the victim's conditions were given as stable. U-Haul passenger Janice Novinsky describes in more detail what she saw on Friday.
One of the Radnor ambulance trucks came up on the east side in the far right-hand lane and was trying to cut over to turn and literally cut right in front of that black car.
A new clock adorns the streets of Wayne. The clock, donated primarily by Stephen Bagis, replaced the less appealing clock adjacent from the former bank on the 24th of June. The 500-pound clock was designed by Lower Merion native William Raymond, who also designed the blue panels outside of the Blue Route overpass. The clock, made of various metals, displays the town's history. The township seal, Conestoga wagon, lion, griffin, and the railroad are all incorporated into the clock's design. The new clock is a significant part of the town's reconstruction. At the zoning meeting last Thursday, there was a discussion held over Griffin's request to lighten their hours at their new train station location. 3 advantages were brought up to support the extension of hours. There would be safer conditions for commuters if the station were lighted in the night. With the station occupied longer, there would be less chance of vandalism, and the cafe would offer comfort for commuters in bad weather. An extension of hours was also requested because revenues haven't lived up to expectations of the new cafe. After much discussion, the cafe was granted their request for an extension of hours. As you may have been noticing in the past few days, there has been some construction at the St. David's and Radnor Railroad stations, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. On Chamonix Road, there are clearance protection devices being added to the walkway because of reports that trucks are hitting the walkway. This particular situation is being handled by SEPTA. If you have encountered any law enforcement officers recently, you may have noticed that the squad cars look different. That is because the Radnor police are altering their look. The new graphics on the cars are more simplistic than before and are better at illuminating the cars at night. Construction has been completed on the service line connection to the new water main on Lenore Avenue. Currently, work is in progress on Lancaster Avenue and is scheduled to be complete within 2 weeks. After the temporary paving on Lancaster Avenue, final restorations will begin on Lenore Avenue. The installation of the new water main on West Wayne Avenue is nearly complete, which will allow work to begin on South Wayne Avenue within 1 week. Final restoration of Lancaster Avenue will follow completion of main and service connections from North Wayne Avenue to Aberdeen Road. The school board met last week and the primary area of discussion was the yearly budget. Other talked about topics were the Radnor High School Renovation Fund and the Food Service Fund. The school board also heard from community colleges, the Radnor Educational Foundation, and the Radnor High School Scholarship Fund. Radnor renovations are proceeding. With more detail, here's News Center 16's Gustavo Godoy.
The Radnor High School administration was faced with the work and adversity of relocating their main office 2 weeks ago, as the former main building undergoes a facelift and asbestos abatement. For the beginning of the coming school year, new classrooms of the English, Social Studies, Foreign Language, and Mathematics departments will be ready in the new classroom building, which was built within the last year. The completion of these new rooms allows areas in certain parts of the old building to be used by the science department and the administration, which have been displaced from the main building during its renovation. The layout of the new building is such that the classrooms are slightly smaller and grouped together in clusters according to subjects. Teachers will share classrooms now more than ever, and teaching will be more oriented towards group instruction. Although classroom size is smaller, teachers' work and meeting space equipped with computers is increased to allow for better planning. New large group instruction rooms will accommodate activities that require larger classrooms, such as simulations. One such room was made from the former fitness center.
Bring everybody together, trying to figure out what do you want it to look like. Do you want your great big open classrooms with no walls, teachers in all corners? Do you want a small square classroom? Do you have to have a sink in every room now because you do more hands-on? And that's, all those decisions had to be made by the parents, the teachers,
and approved by whom?
The school board ultimately, because they're the elected people who are responsible for paying the bill.
The main hall's renovation is scheduled to be completed by the 1999-2000 school year, at which point the science department and office will return to the main building, in addition to the new main building inhabitants of the guidance department and the new library. This will leave the area currently known as the A and B wings vacant, the demolition of which will finish off the Radnor High School renovation project. Gustavo Godoy, News Center 16.
Thanks, Gus. We'll be back later for this week's in-depth report. Back to you, Danny Liza. Hope you're having fun up there.
Thanks a lot, Colleen. We'll be back after this.
Welcome back to this special edition of News Center 16, coming to you live from Prevost Field. The purpose of tonight's festivities, as we said earlier, is to benefit the Radnor High School Scholarship Fund.
At the beginning of the year, students confidentially submitted applications for grants. The applications are reviewed and 31 students are chosen based on need. The program began in 1966 and has already given over $500,000 to college-bound students. The Scholarship Fund is a nonprofit organization and raises money through fundraisers like the Memorial Day Parade and Monte Carlo Night.
The fund is a great way to provide more help for students in future years. Right now, I think Aileen Gallagher is down on the field right now. I think she's got the band there right now. Aileen, how is it down there?
Thanks, Liza and Danny. I'm Aileen Gallagher here down on the field at the 4th of July fireworks. I'm joined by the Big Boom Band who performed earlier tonight. And most of these guys are Radnor graduates. And I was just wondering how you thought your set went. Anybody?
It went pretty well. We're missing one of our members because of the postponing. So I think for not having our sax player, our flute player, it was pretty good.
And from what I heard, you guys were playing mostly jazz. That's correct?
Yes, that was it. Yeah, we were doing jazz and we were doing some funk type stuff in the jazz type mode, but we're doing mostly jazz structured type things.
Now, are these jazz arrangements, are they previously published arrangements, or do you do your own arrangements?
Well, we're doing like the standards, like Miles and Coltrane and Monk, but we've written sort of our own arrangements of those standard tunes. Yeah.
And what are your plans for the future? You guys just play over the summer, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, we all go to colleges that are pretty far apart, so we're probably not going to play during the year, but we all play jazz or something up at school. And
great. Now, is this the second year you guys played here, or the second year?
Yeah. Second
year. How's it worked for you so far? Have you been pleased with? I don't know. Do they treat bands well here, and how's it been working for you?
We like it. We've had some problems with various means of playing and playing here and with other people,
No, I think
annoying us.
I think this is a great opportunity. Like where else can you, like a little band like us, get such a giant audience? And the Scholarship Fund's been really, really helpful. The other band's been pretty nice, so it's been pretty good.
Great. Well, thanks a lot for coming out, and good luck to you guys in the future.
Thank you.
Back to you, Liza and Danny.
All right. Thank you very much, Aileen. Now we go back to Chris Swisher, who's on the field with some more people.
Thanks, Liza and Danny. I'm Chris Swisher out on the field. I had a chance to talk with Art Lewis and some Starfire employees yesterday about the fireworks presentation of this and previous years.
The annual fireworks show is a 30-year-old tradition in Radnor Township. The show first began in 1968 for the benefit of Radnor's Teen Center. The lead shooter head of the fireworks team was in those days Kenny Deitch, whose wife is currently a bus driver for the township. After many years of putting on the show in the stadium at Villanova and a brief hiatus, the fireworks were first presented at Radnor High School 14 years ago under the leadership of head shooter Andy Moshe Sr. Unfortunately, Andy Sr. passed away last year, but it is in his spirit that his old crew is producing this year's show.
Well, we were Andy Moshe's old crew, and so we're doing this for him. Hopefully, it'll turn out really good.
Yeah. Yearly spectators of the show can expect the usual performance, including such perennial favorites as the Battling Tanks and the grand finale. All necessary preparations are being made to deal with the threatened thunderstorms this evening, and everyone is hoping that the show will go forth as planned. And hopefully, under new Chief Shooter Mike Quinn, the fireworks will continue for years to come. Chris Swisher, NewsCenter 16.
Now, clearly that story was written and was meant to be broadcast before the cancellation of the fireworks on the July 4th, and obviously the rain preparations did go into effect. So back to you, Liza and Danny.
Thank you very much, Chris. We'll be back later.
Special edition of NewsCenter 16 coming to you live from Prevost Field.
We have Chris Swisher down on the field. Chris, what are you doing right now?
Thanks a lot, Liza and Danny. Yeah, well, it's a shame that the fireworks had to be postponed an extra day, but it's not as though it was completely unexpected. There had been weather reports for the last week that we were expecting heavy thunderstorms the night of the 4th, and the Starfire team and Art Lewis were well prepared with plastic tarps to cover the pyrotechnics down at the end of the field. And it seems as though, even though we couldn't have our Independence Day celebration on the 4th of July, it's coming off with a success anyway. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Chris.
We're going to take you back to our studio right now where Colleen McKenna has this week's in-depth report.
Thanks, Danny and Liza. Jen Kwan is in with this week's in-depth report on Radnor's new cable contracts.
Finally, an agreement has been reached. After 3 years of negotiations within the Cable Council, the Council has unanimously elected a proposed renewal of the Township's cable and telecommunications franchise agreement with Adelphia Cable. The purpose of this proposed agreement is not just to serve as a simple renewal of the existing contract, but to bring more substantial and effective improvements immediately visible to the cable-using public. Bruce Wilson, chairman of the Radnor Cable Communications Council, discusses the provisions of the contract negotiated between the Township and Adelphia Cable.
There are substantial improvements in this agreement over its predecessor. Basically, we set out with 5 goals to get an upgrade of the system, to make sure it stays state-of-the-art, to maximize the revenues for the township, to completely revise and improve the public access provisions, which for various reasons have not been terribly successful over the last 15 years, and lastly, to make sure that the provisions that we had in this agreement were enforceable.
To ensure that the cable system remains technologically advanced, the franchise requires the Township and the cable company to jointly review the system in the 3rd, 5th, and 8th years of the contract. Another addition to the agreement involves the formation of a local organization to take over the public access function. According to the renewed contract, Adelphia Cable is obligated to contribute $47,000 annually to the organization and to supply the studio and necessary equipment. Though Adelphia Cable will provide the opportunity to utilize the public access operation, it is entirely up to the Radnor citizens to produce, watch, and support public access television.
I think this gives public access a real opportunity to be a success here, and to have the people who are interested in public access running public access, and I think that's terribly important.
Only less than a week has passed since an agreement was reached by the Township and Cable Company. Now, only time can tell if this renewed contract will result in success or further disappointment. Jen Kwan, NewsCenter 16.
Thanks, Jen. Back to you, Danny and Liza. Hope you're getting ready for some nice fireworks to start.
Right now we have Aileen Gallagher once again down on the field. Aileen, what do you have down there?
Well, thanks again, Liza and Danny. Took a little bit of a tour of local historical areas of interest in Radnor and a little bit out of Radnor. Went down to Chadds Ford the other day. And here's a look. You know, everyone looks to Philadelphia, but it's not all in Philadelphia, so take a look. Though the rest of the country often turns its eye to Philadelphia every July 4th, Radnor residents know to look no further than the backyard to sites rich in historic value. St. David's Church, a part of the Radnor community since 1715, holds special significance not only to the Episcopalians who worship here, but also to anyone with a fondness for history. The original building, which now serves as a chapel to the main church, was built by the first rector of St. David's, the Reverend John Clubb, a Welsh missionary. The churchyard surrounding this chapel has served as a cemetery for local Episcopalians since the 18th century. Veterans from the Revolutionary War all the way up to today are buried here, most notably General Anthony Wayne, for whom the nearby town of Wayne was named. Other soldiers who fought under Washington were housed here during the Revolutionary War as well. St. David's remains an active parish. Churchgoers are baptized and buried here and attend services and Sunday school in the larger, newer church complex across the street. The building behind me, the Radnor Friends Meeting House, was erected in 1721 and is now in the National Registry of Historic Places. Quakers, as the Friends are more commonly known, occupy a central part in Pennsylvania history. William Penn, founder of this commonwealth, was a Quaker, and many who came to this part of the New World shared his faith. Considering basic Quaker tenets such as religious tolerance and pacifism, it is little wonder that our forefathers, who also espoused these values, chose to found the new nation here in Pennsylvania. This site, at the corner of Conestoga and Newtown Roads, where Quakers have met since the 17th century, played an integral role in the Revolutionary War. The building served as housing for the officers stationed at nearby Valley Forge, and also as a hospital for the thousands who took ill that bitter winter. Radnor Friends continue to meet here every Sunday, and the second building now serves as a church, school, and daycare center. Beyond the meeting house is a small cemetery where Quakers from the 18th century to today are laid to rest. On September 11th, 1777, George Washington left this building, his headquarters, and traveled down the road a few miles. There he would meet for the first time the leader of the British forces, Sir William Howe, on the battlefield at Brandywine. A dense fog provided cover for the British forces as they surrounded the American troops. Conflicting intelligence reports led Washington to believe that the entire British force would attack the line at Chadds Ford. In reality, however, the British divided and approached the American right flank. Washington could only watch and see his men outmaneuvered and outnumbered. Though the Americans lost the battle here, Washington's relationship with the 19-year-old French general Marquis de Lafayette would prove more fruitful. Brandywine was Lafayette's first battle, and the reports he sent back to France of the American gold and character would convince the France to ally itself with the rebels. French support was valuable to America and one of the main reasons behind the new nation's victory. Today, Brandywine Battlefield is a national park that hosts thousands of visitors from around the world. Though the chapters on the American Revolution have long been closed, the stories continue, and people can see it here every day. Aileen Gallagher, NEWSCENTER 16.
Well, I think the fireworks are going to be starting any minute now. I'm really looking forward to this year's show. I mean, I've come here almost every year, and it's a spectacular every year.
I think they're getting ready to begin.
Welcome back to the special edition of NEWSCENTER 16.
We throw it now to Aileen Gallagher and Chris Swisher, and they're going to talk about their thoughts on the fireworks.
Thanks a lot, Liza and Danny. Chris, that was a great fireworks show. What do you think about it? I think the crowd loved it. It was, the year of Andy Mocha. I think it did a lot for carrying on. Yeah, that was a real special tribute they had. The only new thing that they had this year was a donkey. It was a limp donkey, and it got big whips, and it was shot out of that thing. I think it was going to be rats. Oh, all right. That were attacking the donkey. It was kind of defended from the rats. To no avail. Exactly. But that rats, that was really interesting. And also the tanks were bigger this year, right? Yes, I understand that the tanks of former years were the size of the wheels of this year's tank. So, that's quite a question. know, the township tries to outdo itself every year, I think, and this year, especially with the rain lighting. The expectations were up, but I really think they met all those expectations, and I don't know if you can see the crowd behind us. We'll probably wave a little bit. But everyone's leaving, but it was a great show. There was tons and tons of people, and gave a lot of money to the Radnor High School Scholarship Fund, which is where all the proceeds from the show is. So congratulations to Radnor Township and the Scholarship Fund, and thanks a lot everyone for coming out tonight. Good? Good night.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that donkey was spectacular.
Truly.
I wasn't expecting that.
Definitely. So, what were your thoughts on the fireworks, Danny?
It was good. I enjoyed it very much. It was very nice. They came back very well from the rain that happened yesterday that postponed it until today.
Yeah, I love the tribute they had tonight for Andy
That was
Moshe
very
Sr.
nice, yeah.
That was really great how they did that.
Mhm.
Altogether, I just thought it was a great show.
It was.
I've
Very
seen
good.
this show many times, and this is definitely one of the best ones I've seen.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I have to agree. Our next newscast will be on July 17th. For any further information, visit our website at www.members.aol.com/TV16news.
Well, that wraps it up for this special edition of News Center 16. We want to thank everyone who came out here tonight. Absolutely everyone, our crew, everything. So for Chris Swisher, Aileen Gallagher, Jen Kwan, Kurt Leinbach, Colleen McKenna, Gustavo Godoy, Alexis Yesner, Danny Yoren, all of us here at News Center 16, I'm Liza Kane. Have a happy 4th of July.